Isang mapagpalang araw po sa ating lahat. So ngayong araw is yung last installment natin patungkol sa ating series na Hope in God's Promises. So 'di ba every Sunday is nagtatapos tayo sa isang series and kinabukasan Monday is panibagong series naman tayo. Since today is Sunday, so ngayon yung last installment natin ng Hope in God's Promises. So ang topic natin for today is hopelessness leads to God or have a real connection with God. So in connection to our topic for today, ang Bible verse na ating tatalakayin ay ang Mark chapter 5 verses 25 to 24. In New International Version, and the woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. She had suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors and had spent all she had, yet instead of getting better, she grew worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came up behind him in the crowd and touched his cloak, because she thought, if I just touch his clothes, I will be healed. Immediately her bleeding stopped and she felt her body that she was freed from her suffering. At once, Jesus realized that power had gone out from him. He turned around in the crowd and asked, "Who touched my clothes?" "You see the people crowding against you," his disciple answered, "and yet you ask, 'Who touched me?'" But Jesus kept looking around to see who had done it. Then the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell at his feet, and trembling with fear, told him the whole truth. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." So, ang pagkakaintindi ko rito is, di ba, may babae nga na nagsasuffer siya sa health condition niya since she was bleeding for about 12 years or more. And kahit anong doktor, kahit sinong doktor, and kahit napakarami na niyang nagastos na niya lahat ng pera niya is, hindi pa rin siya gumagaling. So, di ba, nagastos na niya yung lahat ng pera niya. So, imbis na gumaling siya, is naging worse pa yung condition niya. So, when she heard about Jesus, is tinouch niya yung cloak or yung clothes ni Jesus nang hindi alam ni Jesus Christ. And nagtataka nga si Jesus, sino raw yung humawak sa damit niya. But walang umaamin. And then, itong woman na ito is umamin siya at Jesus' feet and umiyak siya, umamin siya ng katotohanan na siya yung humawak sa damit, trembling with fear, and kinlarify sa kanya ni Jesus na she was healed by her faith, hindi dahil sa damit ng ating Panginoong Jesucristo, diba? So she was healed by faith, not by touching the clothes of our Lord Jesus Christ. So para mas mapalalim pa itong talakayan natin, is proceed tayo sa ating teaching. Number 1, hopelessness leads us to God. So, i-connect ko na rin yung number 2. Faith is the conduit between us and God. So, hopelessness, katulad ng sa woman kanina, since 12 years nang hindi maganda yung condition niya and hindi siya gumagaling even though ang dami na niyang doctors na napupuntahan, ganon. So, ang nangyayari is hopeless na siya. And her being hopeless is the one that led her to God, diba? So, naging faithful siya, nagtiwala siya, nanampalataya siya. And she was healed, diba? Nabasa naman natin. She was healed through his faith, gaya nga nasabi ng ating Panginoong Jesucristo. So, hopelessness leads us to God. And number 2, faith is the conduit between us and God. So, conduit means parang passage, connection, channel, nagko-connect. So, faith is yung nagko-connect sa atin and kay God. So, katulad nga na sa babae kanina, nang dahil sa faith niya is gumaling siya. So, with our faith, we can be connected to our Lord God and He will hear our prayers, diba? Mas mapapabilis yung pagdinig niya sa ating mga panalangin since we are connected us to our Lord God through our faith. And number 3, God's presence is meant to be experienced. So, even though hindi natin siya nakikita, we have to trust and believe in Him that He is always there for us. Kasi nga, God's presence, His presence is meant for us to be experienced. Diba? Lahat tayo, na kahit makasalanan tayo lahat, even though we are so undeserving, even though we are undeserving, yung presence ni God is meant for us. Diba? So, ganon niya tayo kamahal, and that is how He is faithful towards us. So, dapat ibalik natin yung pagmamahal and faithfulness na yun towards Him, and we should glorify Him even more. So, ngayon naman is proceed tayo sa ating application. Number 1, do not hope in people and wealth. Kasi lahat yan, hindi natin madadala pagdating natin sa langit. Number 2, receive an outflow of God's or of Christ's power. And number 3, experience the reality of God's presence. So, at this point, we should be able to reflect, how did we experience God recently?